Hello and welcome my friends on another sunny morning. Today we're learning how to Casper. Let's get straight into it. So for those that don't know, a Casper, you have your back foot on the underneath of the board, just like here, over the tail, and your front foot sits underneath this bit here to pull it up. So it's like an anti-manual almost. You have your back foot on the tail and your front foot holds the board up like this. It's quite hard to balance, so practice this a little bit like this. But today I'm going to show you how to get into it properly and then out of it again. So this trick is actually really cool. So you do like a half kickflip and catch on its underside, like that. And then to shove it out is actually probably the easiest part of it. So we'll do the shove it out first. So the shove it. Basically what you do is you have your board upside down, exactly how I just showed you. All you do to get the board to spin around is you hit this bit and you scoop it that way, just like that. And because your other foot is underneath the board, holding it up, then use that to put a bit of weight over and push it like a shove it so it goes and completes the turn just like this. So easy to practice without even doing anything really. So remember, to practice this first bit, it's way easier than it looks and way easier than you probably could imagine how easy it is. So you just scoot back and with the other foot lift it up and try and stop the board. So watch this foot. This is the only foot you need to worry about. This one is basically an autopilot maneuver. Just go like this. See how the board like wraps around this front foot and then is automatically stopped by it? That's what makes it so easy. It just happens so naturally. So get your board like this, put it down, and now what we're going to do is we're going to try and commit to it, right? So instead of just going like this and having one foot, we're going to jump at the same time and try to land back on it like this. All right, so take your board down, just how we had it. And now we're going to jump forward a tiny bit as we scoot back like this. And that should hopefully get us to meet the board on top of the bolts. You might do a couple like that where you just step straight off because you're leaning too far forward, but just practice it enough times so you know where the weight is going to go, and you should end up with something like this. It's kind of more like a stepping onto it motion, so it really works out quite well. The next step is probably the most difficult though, and that is the half flip into it. So the half flip, basically you're going to have your foot in a kickflip position. So for those of you that don't know, that's toes just on the board at a 45-degree angle just before the front bolts. Doing that, having your foot there, makes it so easy to catch the board on the underside with that front foot, because basically what that foot is then doing is just putting a bit of weight on this side of the board, and then it will automatically come over the top of your foot just like that. Next, with the back foot, all we're doing is popping and just aiming to land it back on this bit. That's the easiest part. This one is definitely going to take you the longest to get. You might end up just doing a few like that where it's super slow, just falls onto your feet, and you can practice getting back up just like that. And the more and more you practice that half kickflip, the closer you're going to get to landing back on. Again, it's one of those ones that is actually quite difficult to learn at first. As you can see, even as someone who knows how to do the trick, it can still be quite difficult to catch it in Casper. I'm fairly unpracticed with this variation of it. But as you can see, when you do eventually catch it, it's just very natural to get that shove it out of it as well. That seems to be the easiest way, because the board just wraps around that front foot. And you should end up with something like that. I will say though, that the ideal way to do this Casper is when you half flip it, you want to catch it in the air like this without your foot on the floor, but it is very commonplace when you first start to land just like this with your foot on the floor. I'd say that's a great place to start, so if you are landing like this, still commit to it all the way by doing the shove it out. So for the whole first day, you're probably going to want to be practicing that half kickflip in. It's definitely the hardest part, but for a man like you, I believe you can do it.